Hello, everyone. Welcome to the City of Healing. This is your sister, Sanat and Terangela. I hope that everyone is having a beautiful Saturday so far. It's afternoon now. Hope that you have something relaxing and comforting planned for the day. It's been raining a lot. It's not raining today so far, but as I mentioned before, I do love the rain. Anyway, I wanted to come forth and talk a little bit about avocado toast and salt. I don't eat a lot of avocado toast, but I eat avocado pretty frequently, maybe once or twice a week, maybe. And avocado, as we know, are so good for us. They have a lot of good fats that help us with regulating our hormones and our mood. So, healthy fat is very essential in the diet, and that is one of the ways to incorporate it by eating avocados. And avocado toast, I've heard about that maybe 2 years ago, and there seems to be a billion ways to make avocado toast. I did not have my favorite bread today, so I had to opt out for one of the breads that my kids like, but it would have been perfect if I had that. But I just made the avocado very simple, just added some lime, and I had some egg, just added a little bit of seasoning to it, and ate it. It was delicious. And as I mentioned before, I don't usually eat a lot of breakfast food, but eggs I do incorporate in my diet, not frequently, but I do really like eggs, good healthy eggs, of course, if it's organic, soy-free. We have to remember what we feed our animals that we eat. We also eat. So if the chickens ate soy, then you're eating the soy too, of course. But anyway, enough about that. The real purpose of why I wanted to come forth and share, because yesterday I didn't get a chance to drink a lot of water, and I usually drink maybe 2 liters of water yesterday, and I may have drunk 1 liter of water yesterday. But anyway, I was fine. Of course, I wasn't dehydrated or anything. But I was like, well, I didn't get enough water. I was so busy. I really didn't worry about it. I knew I wasn't going to be dehydrated or anything like that. And I decided that I wanted to go to sleep with my lamp, my Himalayan pink salt lamp. And I love pink Himalayan salt. Is one of my favorite salts, and my daughter got this for me for Christmas. And sometimes I turn it on, which enhances the salt aspect of it. And most of the time I just have it at my bedside. But last night I pulled it close to my bed and I turned it on. And of course I slept good. Of course I dreamed, and it was very relaxing. There was no reason that I turned it on. I just wanted it on. And when I woke up, I had a salty taste in my mouth, and I was like, oh wow. And I saw my salt lamp. I was like, oh my goodness. Of course I didn't have enough water yesterday, and salt was in the air, the negative ions. Of course, you're gonna taste it. So I know why this is actually really, a real Himalayan pink salt lamp. And so also, my face felt a little puffy. I was like, oh my goodness. At first I didn't really put it all together, but, it made sense. I was like, well, I didn't drink enough water. And I usually, if I want to dream and balance everything out, I put like a bowl of water next to the bed as well. And I just didn't do that last night. So what I wanted to come forth and talk about is a little bit about salt, because salt, as we know, has a bad rap. And usually it's not the salt, but it could be a few reasons that salt is an issue for you. One is the wrong type of salt. The salt that we do have, or as table salt, the white salt, the iodized salt in the blue container, is not necessarily the best salt. Sodium and chloride, and it has the decaking agents, the preservatives, and it does have the iodine, but it's not the best salt to cook our foods with, to eat with. Also, you may be dehydrated. And if you're dehydrated, salt is going to be an issue for you. If you have kidney issues, if you have heart issues, and you're not circulating well, you're going to have salt issues. So salt is not the problem. And also, if you overconsume, of course, salt is going to be an issue. Individually and incorporating all of those issues together mentioned can further enhance your issues with salt. So, in other words, it's not salt. Specifically, it's not pink Himalayan sea salt, which is one of my favorite salts, and there's various amounts of salt. And as I mentioned, the iodized salt that we see in the blue container is not the best salt to consume. But the real pink Himalayan sea salt is found in Pakistan in the mountains, the earth of the mountains, and it's harvested. And it's not necessarily only pink. I've seen like a blue color and a white color of this Himalayan salt. And I've seen it cut up, I've seen it glued together. I've had some different types of salt that I've collected over the while and I've tasted. But as I mentioned, pink Himalayan sea salt is my favorite. I remember as a child, we had what we call a smokehouse. And in this smokehouse, my grandmother had different types of meats that she would salt, different types of canned goods, jarred goods that she kept in there. And of course, I didn't put two and two together, but I remember her putting like a raw meat in there as being this size, and then when it come out, it's like this size. And also, how some people used to put salt down when it rained, and it actually dries up the area. And also when we lived in like a brick house, not we, but when a family I was staying with lived in a brick house, and even here on brick we would find snails, and if you put salt down, or if you put salt on the snail, the snail would shrink up. And realizing that and knowing what salt does, it actually can be a positive influence over the health of the human body. And working in the hospital also, I've seen different types of situations with salt. If you didn't have enough, that you also ran into problems. For example, we need heart for brain function. We need salt for heart function. We need salt for the kidneys. I've seen where someone's salt was so low that they were confused or comatose because their sodium was so low, and they were constantly losing sodium or salt through the kidneys or the pituitary gland. So salt is needed for neurovascular and mental health. It's very much so needed. I haven't seen so many emergency situations that you could actually correct where the salt was too high, but more so an emergency situation if the salt was too low. However, chronic issues, I've seen issues if you had the issues that I just mentioned would cause you to have some issues with salt. I can go on and on about the different situations that I've seen with salt. Patients come in with low potassium or magnesium, and we're constantly giving them the tablets. However, when you mix it with sodium chloride, their potassium or the sodium quickly goes up, because all of those mixed together helps boost the absorption of the salt or the potassium or the magnesium that's also essential for heart health. Because if you don't have enough sodium or potassium, and sometimes even the combination of them, you can have issues with regulating your heart rhythm and your heart function. So it's very important to know that salt has also some positive aspects as well. And I've seen salt, and even my grandmother used to have home remedies of using salt, because it's also antimicrobial and helps boost the immune system. For example, if you had a sore throat and you gargled with salt, it helped get rid of some of the bacteria or the inflammation in your throat, and over time, and even some situations overnight, your sore throat was better. I've also seen it use it with sinus problems. Neti pots, using them. Just make sure you don't use tap water. Using salt to flush your sinuses can help decrease or prevent a sinus infection from occurring. Let's see, I also seen it used in toothpaste. I remember when we were growing up, people in school used to tease me. It's like, why? How your teeth get so white? What kind of toothpaste do y'all use? And we didn't really use toothpaste a lot. Once in a while, we'll get Crest, but I used to say, we use soap. I wash my mouth out with soap, and that was a big joke, But it was literally, my grandmother used a certain type of soap that she did put salt in, and different type of lye, and we used to brush our teeth with that. And it kept our teeth. We didn't go to the dentist, and I still have all my teeth except for one. And we had well water, so we didn't have a lot of fluoride in our water, and we didn't use a lot of toothpaste. We use a lot of salt to gargle with. If you had an infection or a cyst in your mouth, you rinsed your mouth out several times with salt, and that was very helpful as well. I can go on and on about, home remedies. I'm sure you all can think of some home remedies that, your grandmother told you about, or that you still use to help heal your body. And one thing that I've learned also that is good for, because a long time ago, I believe I was 23, I was diagnosed with asthma. And asthma, as we know, is not, even though you have problems with your lungs, it's not necessarily a lung problem, but it is an allergy problem. So if there's pollutants in the air, some people are more sensitive than others, you're going to have problems with your breathing. And a lot of the inhalers that they use and a lot of breathing treatments that they use have salt in them, and it helps open the pathways in your lungs so that you can breathe better. And that's probably a lot of reasons. I have a little bit of a salt collection. I try not to collect a lot of things. I'm decluttering, actually. But I'll share a couple of my salt collections things. I've shared my little lamp that I have here that's actually real. I got some salt bricks that you can use for grounding or just pulling positive energy out of your body. Since salt is negative, it helps pull out those toxins out of your body. And this is actually real salt. I don't know if you can actually see the crystals here, but this is one of my favorite salt bricks that you can use to help detoxify or put your feet on to pull that positive or toxic energy out of your body. I could tell this is real because I actually stored this with it, and I don't know why I put this with it, but you can tell, it has the salt on it, so you know that these are actually real. I had them stored together, but this is very effective. You can put them in the oven and slowly warm them up and put a cloth over it and use that to pull the toxins out, or you can put it in a deep freezer and cover it, or you can leave it outside if it's really cold outside and put your feet on top of it as well. And here I have some little crystals that I put around the house, some that I cook with as well. I just keep a lot of, I don't have the iodized salt around the blue container. I don't keep that around the house that has so many preservatives and toxins and pollutants in them, that affect the body in an adverse way that goes against, the healing body. Himalayan pink salt, as we know, have over 80 minerals in them that's very essential for the body in general to help it heal itself. That's needed for our everyday living, especially if we're active, if we're sweating, if we're drinking a lot of water. we're going to need to replace those minerals, because it's good to, of course, have bowel movements. It's good to urinate, but if we're doing that, and if we're doing that a lot and a lot of sweating, we need to replace those minerals. And as we age, we're not able to absorb those needed minerals as well. So we're not going to be able to, for them to be bioavailable to our bodies, because our bodies are aging and not as healthy as they need to be. So we can also replace them, in our with pink Himalayan sea salt. A lot of people have talked about flushes. Well, detox flushing to help you have a bowel movement. I would not recommend it, but some people have gotten good effects from it. I have not done it myself. I don't, or maybe I did. I don't remember. If I did, it was one time, and I wasn't impressed to try to do it again. But I can see how it will have a positive effect on your body if your body is able to do what it's supposed to do. If you take that in, and if you are a kidney patient, or if you have colitis issues, or if you have constipation issues, or if you have gastric or stomach issues, you're going to present a problem for your body. So that's just something to really think about when people are suggesting things on YouTube or holistically. Just make sure that the person knows your history in your body, and most importantly, you know it yourself and know what you can and can't do. Of course, that makes sense, but until someone says it, you really think about it, I don't think we really grasp the concept of taking in natural agents for our body as well. What else? Spiritually, I have used sea salt or pink Himalayan salt in the home as well, because of the negative ions that is able to pull toxins and certain entities from the environment and basically disperse of them. And I can tell that's what it does, because even with these bricks and this, you find them, if you leave them out, they will come wet, so that you know that it's absorbing and getting rid of certain things in the environment, so that you can breathe and just basically get rid of the negative energy. Also, I've gone to certain salt baths. I've gone to certain saunas where there's salt in there, and it's such a refreshing and relaxing feeling to go there. I've been to the Juju spa, and I've been to a couple of other spas that did. This was a few years ago. That I've gone and done that, and it was such a wonderful experience to actually feel the effects. Of course, you taste it, but the feeling that you get is so peaceful and relaxing. Tasting it for a little while is not, as bad of a big deal. Let's see, a lot of people, when they consume salt, they say that they have swelling, but again, I say it's not the salt. Perhaps you have a circulatory problem, you have a kidney problem, you have a heart problem, you have a dehydration problem, or you're consuming the wrong salt. So of course you need to stay off the salt. But then again, if you find out what the other issues are, perhaps you can work on that too. So I just wanted to make sure that we understand that it's not the actual salt, the natural, good, real salt, but it's something else that is occurring within your body, or the salt that's making an issue for you. What else? Again, salt helps improve the immunity. So putting it in certain drinks, just a little bit. Even my sister, a couple of days ago, she was having some what she call it, cramps in her feet. And of course she was mineral deficient. So, but she had some Gatorade. But I told her, and even if she remember, I told her when we used to have cramps, or my grandmother had cramps, she used to take just a pinch, just a little hint, a pinch of salt, and put it under the tongue, and then walk on something cold. It went away, completely, until your body was able to absorb the salt and replace the sodium or the magnesium, potassium that it needed, it went away. It helps decrease swelling as well. If you take, some people do what we call salt baths, and I wouldn't recommend them a lot. I've seen some people that do them a lot because it helps draw off, because that's what salt does, especially, for the body. It draws off not necessarily negative energy, but toxins from the body. But if you do it too much, it also will constrict, because it's pulling off so much, and it will cause you to have elevated blood pressure. So, and if your body gets used to doing that, it will continue to elevate, your blood pressure. So that's something to consider. It's not necessarily salt, but it could be the excessive use of it, or the issue that your body is having within, that causes you to respond the way that it does when you have too much salt pull from your body, or toxins pulled from your body. Um, Salt can bring forth, they say spiritually, a lot of prosperity, balance, and peace spiritually. I've experienced that as well when you're in the appropriate environment. Today is a full moon, so I will be pulling out more of my salt and putting it under the full moon to help, uh, draw off some of the energy that it has absorbed, so that I can, further use it in my home, in my bedroom, or my kids' room, or anything like that. Again, I just wanted to come forth and just talk a little bit about salt. That salt is not necessarily the issue, but too much of it, the wrong type of salt. If you have issues in your body, such as circulatory, kidney, dehydration, that is the problem. And you will have to lean off the salt until you can resolve those issues. Anyway, that's it for now. Just something to think about if you haven't. If you haven't looked into salt, check it out for yourself. And basically, of course, do what fits you best. Do, if you are seeing a doctor, do as prescribed or ordered by your doctor in collaboration with yourself, and just basically take good care of yourself, but also know the great benefits of this organic salt that we have available for us. And this particular pink salt available in Pakistan that I know of, deep in the grounds at the foothills of the Himalayan mountains. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for visiting the city, and I hope that you all have a beautiful rest of your Saturday. Take care.